morning, guys. Welcome to my new podcast, Embracing Newness. And today I have a guest on that is who started out a single mother who graduated from Howard University and moved to Atlanta, DeKalb County, as a public school teacher, and lived there and decided somewhere along the way to move to Nigeria. And she has not only moved to Nigeria, but she married in Nigeria and had a baby and is looking forward to having other children. And her son's loving the move and the culture. She moved for the sake of peace and culture, community, and she found it. So far, so good. And so much more she found. So, we're going to take a brief look into her life, her new life of comfort and peace and joy. You can tell everything about her in her essence is filled with joy. And though you can see where there are some compromises that she's had to make along the way, you get the sense that they are well worth it. And if you had put yourself in her shoes, that you would see that too. Now, making a big move like that from one continent to another, I mean, one country to a continent of Africa is a big deal. So I didn't want to put any rose colored glasses on my loved ones, old and new. Thank you all for your new subscriptions and thank all of my old subscribers as well, my loved ones, my community, my supporters, and my audience. I did not want to do you guys any injustice, so I also paired her with a young lady who met someone and decided to make the sacrifice to move to Africa and the challenges that has come with that, leaving her children, leaving her vehicle, leaving everything. So we'll start the first half of the show with her, and we will end the next half of the show with that young lady. What do you think? Let's do it. Happy Monday.
And I do not regret selling the house at all. I really don't see myself returning to the United States. Even when you look at like the statistics of the average lifespan of a black woman being there and just the stress, my hormones are more balanced here. I had to get this lotion for Liz, but it's like 45K, which is about $30 maybe for what's like Cetaphil comparable and should be about $20. So things just get crazy. So like even Eucerin eczema lotion is 35K, which is about $20, maybe $21. You might be able to find it on the street, but it's probably not real. I was blessed to be able to host my wedding. I had like over 60 African Americans. So now that I've introduced them to Africa, even my mom has not really gone to any other continent since. My family has fallen in love. People that I've met all over the continent, they all came to Nigeria. And that's why I had to pick these people out of the country. They had a blast. Like it was like one of my favorite moments in my life, honestly. Like they just were like, yo, I never felt like at home. So I started off in the United States. I am Black American. I went to Howard University for undergrad, found Howard, Washington, D.C. to just be very expensive. And I ended up moving to Atlanta. So I moved to Atlanta with my son. I think my son was around 3 when I moved to Atlanta. We go to Atlanta together, and that's when I fell in love with teaching. I became a public school teacher in DeKalb County for a very long time and actually bought my first home in Atlanta in DeKalb. Off Candler, about my first home, it was $100,000. That's all that I could qualify for as a teacher by myself as a single woman. So here I am living off Candler, if you know, you know, across from like South DeKalb Mall in the hood, essentially. Beautiful townhouse, but I made it mine. I'm with my son, and it just was not easy. Like, I've always known there was just more. You know, I've always felt like I've always just wanted more. So even when I was at Howard, like I grew up in the DMV, I was like, I don't want to keep just doing the same thing, that hamster wheel, that hamster wheel. That's what encouraged me to move. So when I went to Atlanta, I started just feeling the hamster wheel. As a single mom, I'm paying a 1,000 like mortgage after taxes, after utilities, my car note 361, insurance 175, groceries by myself. It's almost like I was better off before I got my job teaching and was on like food stamps, WIC, and all these things. Because as soon as you start actually having a job, even if it's a low paying job, you don't get any help. So I'm sitting here, I'm taking care of Brayson by myself, working two jobs just to make ends meet, and it just became exhausting. So I've been watching YouTube a lot, and I saw a lot of people living their lives abroad. I was dating someone at the time, and he asked me if I could visit Ghana with him, and I went to Ghana, and I just fell in love. Like I absolutely fell in love in Accra, and it was just a wrap ever since. As soon as I realized how much I love Accra, I then started bringing my family members, hosting teachers trips, like trying to just shed light on the African continent. Up until then, I was ignorant myself on the beauty of Africa. Even though I at Howard majored in African diaspora and studies, they mainly kept it really pedagogical, very content based. There was no real connection. So I had information, I had studied Kemet, I had studied Bantu, I had studied all these things, but as far as faces and like the actual spirit of the continent, I was not aware of until I was able to travel throughout the continent myself. So, understanding my love for Ghana, I started looking for jobs on the continent that would lead me away from Georgia. So I ended up in Kenya. I've been in Tanzania. I've been in Uganda. I've been a lot of places, and right now I am in Abuja, Nigeria. So I met my husband. A lot of people will be like, thinking I met my husband in Nigeria. I did not meet my husband in Nigeria. I met my husband in Kenya, and the timing was just amazing. I planned on being in Nairobi. So even a lot of people on y'all's episodes, shout out to Tanika, Cadre, like these are my girls. Like I was in Nairobi, but I met my husband in Nairobi, and he told me he just didn't want me to not be his wife anymore. So we ended up getting married, and he moved me here to Nigeria. So this is my life here in Abuja. This is my home. Welcome to my home. I am here in Abuja. Come in. We got here. This house was actually a carcass. It was one of the houses that he just didn't really feel like working on. He was in his like bachelor season. So I was lucky enough to be able to have like a blank canvas to come to. So everything in this house, I've kind of like picked out myself slowly, slowly, been changing. So let's start. Even with this wall, I found it on Pinterest. And you would think it's even like a wallpaper, but it's not. I had someone come and hand paint it for like $20. Like it was such a good deal, and he's so good. So like you'll see another one of the things he painted in the house. I'm gonna change this soon, but I just love the fact that I can like show him something I want, and it's there on the wall. So this is our main wall. This is our living room. We do live in a townhouse. It's a duplex. We live inside of town. So right now in Abuja, and I think honestly everywhere. Everyone's really into like the piano vibes, the mirror.
So something that I have noticed about as I've been doing throughout the weekend, as I was decompressing and energizing. Something that I noticed about most people who move to Africa is, which I have been researching a lot of people who've been moving to Africa. There are a lot of people moving to Africa, but is how a lot of people leave their furniture in the States, leave all of their furniture in the States, and they have their furniture made, and it's so cheap, and how cheap it is to decorate their homes and everything, and how cheap it is to, like in her story, she has a, a nanny just for her daughter, and she has a housekeeper, and how she's paying the nanny 150 a month, and she pays the housekeeper around that amount. Now that townhouse is not just two levels; it's three levels, and um, though she was working for as a teacher in the States, she is not actually working right now. She had been looking for work. So everything that she's been able to um, accomplish has been within her marriage. And if you notice, they had a very beautiful marriage ceremony. And as she speaks, see, this is her nanny, and she also goes with her grocery shopping and different stuff. And she does a plethora of things, not just take care of the baby, but as you see, she also puts groceries up and different stuff. So she's really left with a lot of her time to herself. And as you, which of course I'm going to leave her name and everything, you can check her out yourself, but as you get further into the episode, you see that she's done all the decorating of the house, the three levels, and the top floor, which is pretty much soundproof. It's just for her and her husband. And it was, uh, her baby went viral with that picture. Um, Anyway, how she decorated the whole home, and most everything that she's done in decorating has been like bringing in artists and um, having them to come in to put panels on the wall, to do the painting and ordering the different fabrics that she wants. So, in you can sort of say living as if she was somewhat of a millionaire. And this is all coming off of a teacher's salary in DeKalb County, Atlanta, Georgia, and taking a trip and meeting her husband. And like she said, when she met her husband as they were dating, there was no, um, it wasn't like when he would visit her, he would be sitting in the heat. She had air conditioning and things. Now, her husband is in a good situation where he's able to provide and everything, and uh that is not a big conclusion for everybody. This just so happened to be for her. And something that I have seen from most all of the people I have been watching. And I had to say I've watched at least ten people for Africa, Vietnam, and different places, but for Africa, about 10 places. But one of the biggest things that I have been able to see is if you have money, you can live like royalty. And even if you're living on Social Security or whatever, if you get about $3,000 a month, you can live just like that, because, like she was saying, between her rent and everything, it's only like $1,800 for everything. So, I mean, for her nanny, for her, and so, yeah, and of course, she was saying that she don't. eat out regularly, but whenever they want to, they can. And well, of course, you could see her son is having him a big old ball, and he's been able to just adjust lovely. Look at him. She looks so happy, and she just looks so fulfilled and just radiant. She's just like glowing. And so, like I said, that's not everybody's situation, but this happened to be a really good situation, and I have not seen one terribly bad situation, but I have seen where people was looking with rose-colored glasses going in and moving emotionally, which is always a definite no-no. And I've been there many times, and I have learned for myself. That's always the best way to learn is for yourself, not to move from emotions, especially when it's a big move, and especially when it concerns your children, and especially when it concerns your children. And so, yeah, I'm moving back on to her. We're going to listen to her a little bit more, and then we'll have our second scenario. How about that? Let's go.
Need to be shamed into being competitive and like feeling pride in your work. And I felt like that was just really what was missing. But now he comes home and I don't even have to tell him, like, son, you did bad on this test. Like, he feels bad that he did bad on the test. You know, and all his friends are like, oh my God, you did bad on the test. Like, so it really is environment over nurture, even sometimes. You know, you can try your best at home with these kids sometimes, but you send them to school. And I can say that as a teacher. You know, I had kids in my classroom in public school in America who had amazing parents, very strict parents. But your kids are around craziness all day. It's going to like start slowly seeping in. So that has been one of my biggest gifts living here. Blessing is not Grayson's nanny, but of course, it's another set of eyes that you need in a household when you're raising a child. So this was actually just like a nook. I turned it into my office, added some shelves, my desk. This is where I do most of my content and things. I like it because I'm in the mix. I'm in the living room. I can hear what they're doing in the kitchen. So here's our kitchen. We do have a gas stove. What surprised me the most about living here is the fact that they let you handle gas so freely, because it's actually very scary and I do not change the gas. So like the gas line is hooked in, like you have to hook the gas up, refill the gas yourself. I'm used to the gas like being powered. So if you want to
I know, right?
station, like air gas, you guys, not like
Dang.
fuel, like gas. I'm like, oh my God, what is
I
going on in my
know.
car? And then my car blows up because I have a canister of gas in my car. It's very scary.
I
So I
guess
started
so.
getting it delivered. So they do have people who deliver like a large thing of gas. So that just in my mind, when you're in the States, you always pay gas, but you don't see the gas, you know? I do have my air fryer, which again, back to NEPA. There's no such thing as an inverter air fryer. So, and that's a business opportunity for somebody. If you want to make an inverter air fryer for us to be using when NEPA is not working. But really, we can only use the air fryer when there's NEPA because it kills my inverter so badly. So right now we have our house situated to where there is no microwave usage when there's no light. Like my son's running games where we use so much like passive energy. I really like to conserve the inverter just in case there's an emergency. So some people will leave their microwave on the inverter. I do not. So this is also Grayson's indicator of if we have light or not. So he'll microwave. Cool. We have light. Life here is definitely cheaper. Obviously, childcare in the United States is absolutely insane. If I was in the United States, I don't even think I would have wanted to have another baby because it's so expensive and draining. One thing that did shock me about Nigeria is that the filling up our gas tank is the same price. So when I call my sister at home, there's even times where her gas has been cheaper than my gas here in Nigeria, this oil country, which is insane. My sister's light bill has also been cheaper than mine. Some months people do not realize NEPA is not a game. I have a certain standard of living. When I met my husband, he could sit in a warm house. He didn't have to run the air all day. I'm going to run the air all day in the house, in every room. I do not like fans. So these are just things that you have to factor in when you were talking about Nigeria. Unfortunately, the country does have a lot of issues with consistent light. So the biggest expenses I would say is like maintaining our inverter, which for people who don't know, if you have a generator, you can run power in your house all day. Some neighborhoods, like my neighborhood, does not allow for a generator. We have a huge community generator that we have to agree to run. So, of course, you're going to have people who do not want to run the gen because it costs fuel, which means that we have to like spend 20K, 30K, 40K, and not every family here wants to do that. Some people are okay with just like chilling out in their house with no light and waiting for NEPA to bring the lights. If you do not want to do that, you would get an inverter. So we do have a solar inverter. We have solar panels on top of the house, which my husband had to get. It comes with a solar like conversion that charges your inverter battery. But there's levels to inverters. So you can have a very small inverter that can just kind of keep the power on enough for you to charge your phone and keep the TV on. You can have an inverter that's strong enough for you to run the microwave or run the washing machine in your refrigerator. And it also depends on the weather. So there's been days where I've had to crash out because it's so cloudy. NEPA didn't come. I start getting anxiety. Like, am I going to make it through the night? Like, is the inverter going to hold me through the night? It was a very cloudy period where the inverter was not holding us
I'm
through
so
the night
glad she
in
keeping it
hotels
a
for our
buck.
mental health, right? So those are
Completely
just
real.
the things I would say that a lot of people don't take into consideration as far as money and spending when it comes to living in Nigeria is the maintenance, like setting yourself up to be able to have a smooth ride. I would say just providing infrastructure. It's what's expensive here to make yourself comfortable. Otherwise, that food is obviously way cheaper. It's cheaper, but there's things that just are not cheap as well. So it just all depends on your taste. There's levels here in this Nigeria. That's what I like
So
to
we
say.
pretty much get the
You got to
picture
pay to play.
of where
So
she's
if you want
going
the things that you like,
is
you got to have to pay.
basically,
Honestly, if you're
obviously.
coming here on a super, super, super tight budget, you can definitely work. Nigeria is super affordable. There's great food. A goosey you can find for like $2. A nice heavy goosey with some stew. But
So basically, we get where she's going. One thing that I have learned about, um, excuse me, one thing I have learned about not just Africa, but about moving from the States is that medical is so much cheaper everywhere. Everywhere. I mean, not just cheap. I mean, you don't even have to have insurance. You can go and deliver a baby and pay out your pocket, and it's incredibly cheaper. And especially in like Vietnam. And yes, both black and white people are moving to Vietnam. A lot of people are moving from America, and you know um so anyway, this is my second guest, and she has moved now to Ghana. Miss Lashandra Shirley, and she was a medical assistant in North Carolina, and I'll let her talk for herself. Oh, that's because I didn't go to my library. Okay, here we go. Yes, she is. And I paused it on the part where I wanted to show you from. So, no worries. At 25 minutes in. Here we are.
It wasn't extreme expensive at all. And then we had to buy the fridge. It wasn't that expensive either. Whereby in the States, the fridge and the stove comes with the apartment, but the apartment is a lot more expensive. So it kind of, you know, as far as electricity, because I like the air conditioning, I would say like to between 50 and 100 cities. Well, between 100 and 150 cities. Not cities, sorry.
I want to point out something that I noticed right away when I see her versus the last guest is her posture and how mousy she talks. Like she's sort of in the way. She don't have the same confidence of joy or that same freedom of um like she is proud of her decision, like she's so amped and ready to tell her story. She can't wait to get it all out, how impressed you're about to be. I automatically, as soon as I start watching her, I got the feeling that it's something wrong here. And the further she got in, that's when I was like, okay. And I know that because, just like real recognize real, different scenarios that you've been through or different places you've been in your life, you can notice those same spirits. You can those familiar spirits that's like you can see that part of yourself that was there before.
And what is the TV? I think it's like because you have to pay a month. I think it's the same stuff. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. All right, guys. I have my butter bread. I love butter bread. It's 20 CDs, so equivalent to the States. Let's say like two. All right, so mango, 15 CDs, got two.
They got that fresh fruit. Oh my goodness.
Avocado, which is like they call
I
pear.
need me a homegirl over there send me some of that fruit.
CDs.
Ooh.
To make this move, I had to sacrifice leaving my grandma behind just to kind of set the foundation until everything was set. I had to quit my job. I left on good terms, but I had to quit my job and I had to leave friends behind, everything I knew behind, and come to a place that I have no friends. The only friend I have is my husband, and he's a stubborn friend. So imagine. But he's a great friend. Um, Other than that, I have to ask him and Google how do you get certain places because again, I don't know. But the sacrifice was my family, my job,
Everything.
my car, because it costs about six
Look at
thousand
that
to have
nice
this
car.
shit. So what I did was I sold it and then came here. So no car um, here. So
She kept her eyes closed when she said that. That means she's thinking about that decision.
because not everybody wants to see me win. So if it's not a conversation between me and God and He make moves for me and I'm clear with what He wants for me, I don't mention it. Now, if it's something that's very stressful, I will go to my sister, who's my backbone. She's She's a year under me, and we would talk about it, and she'll give it to me straight, like, yes, you should do this, no, you shouldn't do that. Um, and then we'll pray about it. That's the only person I would tell my plans to, her and God, and that's it. People in the world, absolutely not. In Revelation family, for years, been sharing stories of diaspora. Who are relocated to the diaspora and coming here on the continent of Africa. You guys have been enjoying.
Of course, you see at the top of the screen, Web Nation. This is the one. And of course, you got to realize that all these stories, including the one I'm showing right now, which we're just at the tip of the iceberg, all these stories, these people are putting in the best light. So if you're subtracting a lot from the situation that looks to you to be uh, troublesome, that means that they can't put it in no better light than what they already showing. So, as I was watching this particular lady, which I'm not in no position to judge nobody, it's not a judgment call. It's the simple common sense that when you look at her after looking at someone who had everything to gain, it's a big contrast, and it's very apparent. Um, and even while she's telling her story, you get the feeling that she is, as she's hearing. Sometimes when something's in your head, it's just like you find your way to make it sound sensible to yourself. You find good points of it to so that you don't feel bad. But when you say it out loud, and I know this too, when you say it out loud to an audience, as the words are coming out of your mouth, you hear it differently than it sounds in your head. And then once it get out your mouth, that's why sometimes people be like, now that I said it, that don't sound right, do it? That's because it don't when you get it out your mouth to an audience, then it's like you can see what you're saying. You can see what people are looking at. You can actually see the words coming out and putting it into a scenario now that isn't in your head and making it feel all comfortable. And so you can see as she's talking, she's like closing her eyes and keeping them closed. And like I said, I'm not judging because I've been there. And I'm only saying what I see because based on the fact that I'm a familiar spirit, because I've been through it. But I'm only saying how. So with even with them showing the best light, these people are professionals showing the best light. They want to sell Africa. They want to sell where she's going. These people are into real estate and everything as well. So um, yeah. So I'm just only showing how far they would go. So I'm going to skip past that. Let's get back to the story because we already know they're doing a great job. And not only is this story from there, but also the last stories from there. And they also have a couple of more channels that's connected with this channel. And they just do an awesome job at placing people and then showing them as they've been set up after they got comfortable. So shout out to Web Nation.
My decision. My family knows, like, once I set my mind on something, that's it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna find a way to do it. I'm very committed to doing that. So if anything, if it's in my mind and I set my mind to it, it's done. The hardest conversation that I had before leaving and coming to Ghana was with my daughter's father. Um, let him know, like, he already knew I was married, but it was the fact that I wanted to bring the girls here to live. And we had a hard conversation about it, but it was much needed because you already know, like, I'm married. So eventually you would have known something like this would happen, whether it be in the
She was
States or whether it
happy.
be in another country. But it's different when you're an active father and you are in your girl's life 24/7. So it was hard for me to bring it to him and without, it being emotional because you're asking me to take someone away from you that you've been with for your whole life and have them positioned to a place where nobody knows anything. Um, the culture is different, the food is different, everything is different. And although it's good, it's different, and um, not everybody adapts to different cultures easily. So it's like you have to present it to them a little bit at a time. And because I loved it, I wanted them to love it too. But um, I have to give it to them a little by little. When I brought it to them, my girls, they were like, I don't know, Ma. Let me just think about it. So we came up with a plan with me and my girls' dad. We came up with a plan to let's do the summer. Um, if you like it over, if you come over the summer and you like it, then we'll stay. If you don't like it, then we'll wait because they're still in school. If you don't like it, then we'll take it a little bit, take it down a little bit, and we'll just come and visit. And they're cool with that. Like I talk to them every day, FaceTime them every day. I make sure that I speak
That's
to them
what I
every day
love about
because
technology.
when they come home from school, I'm there. How was your
Hmm.
day? So it's not
That's
like I'm
beautiful.
gone out the picture. It's just I'm out of the picture physically as far as like being in the same room, being in the same um, atmosphere. But I'm still there. I'm still mom. Nothing has changed about that. Okay, so when I first booked my flight, it was January the 11th. I didn't leave January 11th because the flight left us. So I got to, okay, so in my route, I go from RDU, which is Raleigh Durham Airport, to Washington, and then from Washington straight to Accra. We got to Washington, and the flight was delayed a bit. Like I give it like 2 hours. Our flight connected to go to Accra left us. I'm talking about within 5 minutes. We were running to the gate, and they had already closed the gate. So we had all of us had to spend the night in the airport. Now, mind you, this is an airport. It's always going busy. People you don't know, and you have to sleep with one eye open and still try to keep your belongings underneath you so that nobody steals your stuff while you're trying to rest. So the first night I didn't get
We
any rest.
love.
I didn't get
Sorry,
to Ghana until the 13th because my flight left on the 12th. The flight was like 10 hours.
I'm
It
ready
left
to
at 10
drink it.
at night, 10:30 at night. So you're coming into the next day. Okay, so then luckily I had already booked Airbnb. Um, so we stayed into the Airbnb. Now, mind you, the Airbnb was nice, but the apartments that we were looking into were not what we expected. Like we wanted what we wanted, and so we didn't have the apartment. So we had to extend the stay just a little bit in the Airbnb until we found what we wanted, which wasn't bad, The Airbnb was nice, like I said. Um, and then so I missed the flight. The apartment wasn't ready. Um, um, what else happened? The lady from I bought this glass warmer, and I knew that when I got my apartment, I was going to put my glass warmer up, and I was going to put my oils and stuff in there, and it was going to just send nice, amazing smells throughout the house. Well, the housekeeper broke it, and Ghana doesn't have it. They have like the little small ones with the little candles, but not like the big one that I had, which is fine. But yeah, so I said, Lord, what else? What else do you got for? Yeah. So when I first got here, we got settled into our apartment. It's like you don't know a person till you know them, and so by me and my husband being
That's
so
true.
far, but being so close, via phone. You don't really know anybody till you actually live with them. So our cultures clashed. Um, like what I thought was right, he thought was right, and clashed. So it's like, dang. Me and God became very close because I had to pray like, Lord, what is it? But anytime you're married, that there's always going to be an attack on your marriage. spiritually, because that's something that the enemy doesn't want, like to have a union where God puts you two together. So we have to both kind of take a step back and say, okay, it's not us, it's the problem. So we have to pray for the problem and come together. So now it's like we're finding ways that we about each other that we didn't know, and come in terms of liking it or disliking it. And it's okay to agree to disagree. Um, but yeah, after that, I'd say that that was it. We don't have a car, so we have to use bus. I never did bus before until I came to Ghana. It's an experience. All right, so this is the trotro that I was telling y'all about. So usually I would sit like in the front if there was room in the front, or I would sit like here, or I would sit in the back. So I would pull the seat down like this, up like this. You have chair, or like I would go to the back, or sit in the front. Mhm. And we go where we need to go. And then whenever you have your stop is close, you just tell them, hey, this is my stop. You pay your fee. We're done. The taxis, the boats, they're pretty cool. But the thing I don't like is that you're waiting on them, right? And they can cancel at any time. In the States, I never experienced anything like that. When you say you're coming, you come. Here, they can cancel at any time. So I'm getting used to that. The boat rides, not having a car. I mean, it's a challenge, but it's doable. You know, it's doable. Everything about Ghana is exciting. The food is exciting. Let me tell you, it's not a place that I don't go to where the food is not seasoned. Now, if you go to the States, you may, because they can't put certain things in food, because you may have people who can't have certain things, whether you be diabetic or whatever. You can't have sugar, you have to add it yourself. You can't have salt, you have to add it yourself. Here, I don't have to question, like, is it going to be seasoned or not? It's just good. Not only that, like, just peace. Like, I don't have to worry about where I am, anybody just breaking into my house, or anybody like running up on me the wrong way or disrespecting me in a certain
That is
way.
something that
Um,
everybody has said. I don't know if you guys saw my preview that I put out last night on all of my platforms, but I was talking about how everybody speaks of all of these places that's abroad, about how much comfort and peace they have. And I'm like, they have comfort and peace in places moving out of the country, in a whole new country, and they have peace and comfort. They feel safer than they feel here. And I just felt like that was just like crazy. Like, and not to mention the peace that everybody talks about how much anxiety they felt whenever they had to come back to America. And no matter what the scenario was, which even with this scenario, she speaks of what she's given up, but she also speaks of what she has gained. And time will maybe work everything out where it fits like a glove. It's just a matter of it just sort of now she's married, so that's that. So as time goes on, maybe it will work itself out where I'm not used to wearing black on my lips. It'll work itself out where it'll fit like a glove for both her and her daughters, and and her family. But for the time being, the things that she has found there and this chapter of her life, is she started a new chapter while in a chapter. You know, because we're always in a chapter of when we first get married, when we first have children, but her children aren't finished getting to their adult year, I mean to 18 or nothing. So This was show mainly based on new chapters in people's lives, but she's also integrating the children in this. So she's hoping that eventually that they will move there or just co-parenting, because with technology it is very doable. And so and then fathers are just as good as parents too. At well, they're not. They're not. They're just not as nurturing as women. I mean, they even if they're the most nurturing guy, I don't know, because there's some women who's not nurturing. So it all depends on people's own situation. I can't speak for nobody else's situation. This might be the best situation for her. It might not be for everybody involved yet, but they'll be working on that. So, but I did want to express how everybody talks about this. You don't feel nobody's going to be trying to come and rob you or anything, and that's just been their experiences. And so far, there are a lot of things that you have to consider. Like one couple was saying that I was watching was saying the sudden power outages. The first my first guest spoke of that a little bit, but she spoke of it with having money. Now you imagine that you don't have that kind of money and you get sudden power outages with no warning. That can be pretty brutal at a place that you're not really used to being in, especially getting to know somebody and everything. So, there's that. Moving on.
So far is my peace, my I don't know because it's different. I just got here like a month and a half, so like going to my husband's shop, I don't like. Let's just put that out there, but I go because because I have to. Um, but uh, the parties, the restaurants, the food. I mean, I don't know. It's like you can't name something. Other than my husband's shop, I like it all. I like it all.
Everything except her job, being away from her kids, not having her car.
It was the price of the tickets. So now the airline has it where you can purchase the ticket, but then you have to pay for your bag separately, which was never like that because I first started coming to Ghana in 2021. Loved it. I went to Afrochella. That ticket was 900, let's say 900 or so US dollars. Today, the ticket for just the plane alone is like close to $1,600. That's not including the bag. That's not including like the carry-on. And right now, the only thing that you can take is a carry-on, and that's like a small book bag. You're going on an international trip with a book bag? Absolutely not. So usually they used to be give you like two big bags, and then you have a carry-on, and then you have a personal item. Yeah, cancel that. Social media didn't prepare me for all of the things that God had to offer. Um, it only gave me like a brief, like the castle in Cape Coast or
She
Machu
had rose-colored
Picchu.
glasses on.
They also gave like everybody's experience, but it was the same. Nobody really gave me that they have sip and paints. Nobody told me that they have art galleries that you can go to. Nobody told me that they have like just different
It is
festivals and things
beautiful.
like that.
Well,
Since I've been here, like I knew y'all had lights out, but not like this. Social media does not prepare me for lights out. When lights goes out, it's like it instantly gets hot. Like that. Like it's like the heat just rushes in. I'm not prepared for that. And and sometimes when it's lights out, it's like you have to open up the windows and the what is it, the doors, not the doors, but like the windows and the slide. I have a slide door, so we have to open that and let the fresh air in. Because my God, I don't know how to explain it. Um, but it gets hot like now. Like, yeah.
The lights out right now.
I think I've really started to find myself because of like the hustle and bustle of life and back in the States. It's like you don't have time to, well, I didn't have time to reflect on who I really was, what I really like, to enjoy peace. Because again, it was the rush of job, being a mom, just everyday life that I didn't really get a chance to actually take a breath. Um, I'm a lot more calmer. I'm a lot more relaxed. I don't take things as serious. Um, Things that need to be serious, yes, but in life, like I just,
I want to point out that the place that she's going for enjoyment, the other episodes that I've been seeing, which I'm not picking on her, I'm bringing to light some things that might not be in other episodes. And they're going to put this in the best light, but I want to show some things if you're not uh, picking them up. Is that the last episode they were showing the lady where she was going to different places, and you'll see different guests I have on. You'll see different places where they're going to museums, different things. But this, whenever they showing the this is a professional company here. They're trying to show, hang I'm right in the camera. They're trying to show Africa in the best light. And they only showing her going to outside of going to that little bus thing. They're only showing her going to get that sourdough bread. If you notice, that's the only clip they're running over and over when she's out and about doing her thing and enjoying her life. And she's constantly they just show that one little clip like, oh, she got out. And then they did have where she had got the mangoes or whatever. I don't know why they're not showing that, but it's all in that same area because you could see where it's little, look like a flea market, little shops or whatever, where people are set up. And she speaks of how she's able to get this peace because she's out of the rat race of being a mother and, work and everything and different things. But I know from experience that when you leave one place or leave one situation based on a running type of mentality, you're always you're either on vacation or you always find that same thing because it's got to be a thing of you embracing a new place in your life, embracing a new chapter, falling into place. It can't be like you're running away from or trying to fit into. Like you know how the Jenga game go, and you're just trying to put the little pieces in where the thing don't fall down. But if it's not a comfortable, soothing in, then it's 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 uh it's not a comfortable piece going in. Then it a lot of times just falls down. And so I was listening to her reasons and just listening to her reasons, um, and then matching those up with her complaints. It just to me, you know, and this isn't just like a show that okay, let's judge other people's lives. No, I'm what I'm doing here is showing where people are embracing newness. They are going through the opposition of fear and going into a new place, a new something that's unknown to them. And when you're doing something like that and you're saying, look, guys, they're going to Africa, they're having a great experience. You absolutely have the obligation also to say, okay, but don't get it twisted. This is also a parent, whenever you see it. You got to point out other things that's apparent. Is all. It's a obligation you have. Once you point out one thing, you got to point out another. Moving on.
Allow God to do what He does best, and that's me.
That's
And
it.
it's like it's in a sense I didn't have time for God because it's like I will always make excuse. Oh, I have to get up early. Or I have to do this and that, and then you're so tired that you don't want to get up too early. So here it's like I had a chance to um, extend my hand, if you will, and just ask for God to just lead me, to guide me, to continue to provide for me, and He has done that. So it's like I have no worries, no real worries, really. I just let Him lead, and then I just follow. I would take peace over money right now. And then let me clarify that because you need money to sustain a lot of things. So I would say I take peace over the quantity of money that I was given in the States. I would take a pay cut and still have my peace. You can have it. I would rather have my peace, and I'm cool with that. Because here I feel like I've already got everything I need, and I don't have to. I don't have to work too hard for it. If, in Ghana, if you got it, you get it. In the States, you gotta have credit. You gotta have this. You gotta have no. Just if you have the money, it's yours. Not knowing where everything is what's hard for me here. Not having friends or family here. Having to wait for them to come at specific times of the day. It's hard. It's hard, especially when you're used to like talking to people every day face to face, and then now you have to depend on the phone and the time difference. Getting close to my friends and family, being able to just get up and go to your favorite restaurant. It's just the fellowship with family is what I miss. Trying to find a job here, and then me having to get like a Ghana card or passport or Ghana passport, that sort of thing like that. So it's like I'm literally a foreigner in another world, but I don't know. If I could send a message to my past self, I would have asked her, what took you so long to get here? Just enjoy life. Just enjoy life. Just enjoy life. That's all I could say. And never put God in the passenger seat. He always needs to be in the driver's seat. He always needs to be the one to lead you and guide you. And now that I know that, I have a more peaceful life. So keep God first is what I'll tell myself. In 5 years, I see my girls and me being here under one roof with my husband. In 5 years, I see myself starting a business, or the business already had started. We want to open up a supplement shop. We both like to work out, um, but it's like he knows a lot about proteins and creatines and pre-workouts and that sort of thing like that. So it's right up his alley. So that would be something. He'd be my husband, right up his alley. So that would be something that we would like to start in the near future. Yeah, if you're not an open-minded person, a positive person, ready to build, ready to um, help expand things, help to build. You're not ready to guide. You're not ready to like lend a hand. Open your mind to certain things, different cultures, different aspects of things without criticism, without racism, without judgment. Then don't move to God. Oh, it's a lot more peaceful without you. Um, to be honest with you, a lot of us come here to get away from that. We don't want the racism that is in America. We don't want the discrimination that's in America. We don't want oh, I'm better than you, even though that's everywhere. We don't want it. So stay where you are. If you really want to be happy, Um, and you really want peace, and you really want serene, and just overall enjoyment of life. Just trust yourself and just step out of faith.
That's true. I live by that myself. That is the best message she could give is to trust God and to um, not lean on your own understanding and to fear is our biggest opposition. Our biggest rival is fear, and when you can conquer fear and do things that motivates you um, to be a better version of yourself, to be more fulfilled in your life, to feel more productive in your life, to live and be alive as opposed to just breathing and just living till you die. You I've really been there before, where it's just like you're just on this sleep, get up, brush your teeth, wash your face, go go punch in, go work, take a nap, cook, lay down, take a nap, cook. And it's just like lay down, repeat. And it's just like you're, yeah, on a hamster wheel, as the young lady was talking about in the first one. And not, it's so much more um, life. And the biggest part of making new gold, embrace the new golden moments, making new memories. The biggest thing that I find about starting something new and being a pioneer in starting something new is you always have to be present in every moment because you're constantly embracing something that you haven't had before. And in that process, you're constantly figuring stuff out. Your mind is constantly uh, processing. And it's just like when we're young and we are just, everything is new and exciting. And you just run for no reason. And you just, you know, when you see something that is exciting and new, and it's really new, you'll be like, wow, it just come out. And every day that you wake up, it's just like, what's gonna happen today? That kind of childlike feeling that you have. Um, that's what I really wanted to capture in all of this is not just people moving abroad, but people embracing newness, the excitement of being a pioneer. And being a pioneer is not just creating objects, it's creating uh it's creating, being a blueprint yourself, graduating to the level where you don't have to do what's the follow the norm, but do do what feels right to you based on your decisions. Because when it all comes down to it, that's the only person we have to look in the mirror at the end of the day. And good, bad, or indifferent, no matter who judges, and no matter how anyone else feels about your decisions, you know, they're yours to make. And the whole purpose of that, I mean, the whole point of that is the power of choice and embracing newness. I enjoyed you guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I will be back tomorrow. The Lord says the same, that is. I hope you guys have a great rest of the day.